The phone vibrated violently across the glass table. Ethan Cole's eyes snapped open. Another vibration, then another. He grabbed the phone, his heart already pounding. 17 missed calls, all from the same person, Marcus Hale, his CFO. Ethan frowned. Marcus never called this late, never. The phone buzzed again. Ethan answered immediately. Marcus? On the other end, Marcus's voice sounded strained. Ethan, you need to turn on the news, right now. Ethan sat up. What are you talking about? Just turn it on. The call ended. A strange chill crawled up Ethan's spine. He grabbed the remote and switched on the television. Breaking news banners flooded the screen. Coal Dynamics under federal investigation. Billionaire CEO suspect in massive financial fraud. Ethan stared at the screen like someone had punched him in the chest. What? The reporter continued. Authorities allege that billions of dollars were secretly transferred from company accounts into offshore holdings connected to CEO Ethan Cole. Ethan stood up so fast the chair crashed behind him. That's impossible, he whispered. His phone rang again. This time it was his assistant. Sir? What the hell is going on? Ethan demanded. Her voice trembled. Our stock dropped 30% in the last hour. Investors are pulling out. The board members are asking questions. Ethan ran his hair through his hair. Where's Marcus? That's the problem, she said quietly. No one can reach him. Ethan's stomach twisted. The door to the bedroom opened. Vanessa walked in wearing a silk robe, rubbing sleep from her eyes. What's happening? Ethan pointed at the TV. Her eyes widened. Oh my God! Someone is framing me, Ethan said. This is insane. Vanessa stepped closer, watching the screen. Could it be a mistake? No, Ethan said firmly. Someone is doing this. His phone vibrated again. Unknown number. He answered. Mr. Cole? Yes? This is Special Agent Daniel Ruiz with the Financial Crimes Division. We need you to come in for questioning first thing in the morning. Ethan felt his chest tighten. Questioning? About what? You know exactly what this is about, Mr. Cole. The line went dead. Ethan lowered the phone slowly. Vanessa whispered, Ethan, what's happening? I don't know, he said. But for the first time in 20 years, Ethan Cole felt something he hadn't felt since he was broke and sleeping in a tiny apartment. Fear. And this was only the beginning. Before the sun rose, Ethan Cole would lose everything. And the person responsible was someone he trusted more than anyone. But he hadn't realized it yet. Not until it was far too late. By sunrise, the mansion that had been Ethan Cole's fortress of success felt like a prison. The windows reflected flashing police lights, and helicopters hovered overhead, sending shadows dancing across the polished marble floors. Ethan paced the living room, trying to make sense of what was happening. His mind raced faster than any algorithm he'd ever designed. Vanessa sat silently on the couch, her silk robe now crumpled. Her usual composure was gone, replaced by fear. Ethan, what are we going to do? She asked softly, almost whispering. Ethan rubbed his face. I don't know yet, but we're going to fight this. I won't let them take everything. Vanessa shook her head. Everything is gone, Ethan. Look at the news. She gestured toward the TV. Headlines scrolled endlessly. Billionaire under investigation. Assets frozen. Company collapses overnight. The reporters speculated. The camera angles dramatized every frame, and every word sounded like a verdict already passed. Ethan clenched his fists. They don't know the truth. They'll see. They'll see soon enough. But deep inside, a pit formed in his stomach. The thought of losing control terrified him more than any financial loss ever could. His assistant appeared, holding a tablet. "Sir, the board just sent an emergency meeting invite. They want answers. They're considering replacing you as CEO today." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "Replace me? Today? Do they even understand what's happening? Someone's framing me." He slammed his palm on the table. "Get me the legal team now. And Marcus, find Marcus." The assistant hesitated. "No one can reach him, sir. His phone goes straight to voicemail." Ethan's chest tightened. Damn it, Marcus wouldn't do this, would he? Vanessa's voice was soft but sharp. Maybe he would. Ethan froze. He turned toward her, shock etched on his face. "Vanessa, don't even say that." "I'm just saying," she replied, tears in her eyes. "We don't know what's real anymore. Someone's been manipulating things behind the scenes." Ethan walked toward the window, staring at the police cars and media vans lined up along the driveway. His mind was racing through every transaction, every meeting, every signature he'd ever approved, and one name kept echoing: Marcus. The man he had trusted with everything, his right hand, his friend, the one who had helped him build the empire from scratch. Ethan picked up his phone again. He scrolled through emails, searching for anything that could give him a clue. That's when he noticed it, a series of messages between Marcus and an unknown account. The messages were cryptic, but one line stood out. "Everything is in place for tonight. He won't see it coming." Ethan's heart stopped. He dropped the phone. Vanessa gasped. "What is it?" Ethan shook his head, anger and betrayal mixing into a storm he could barely contain. Marcus has betrayed me." Vanessa's eyes widened. "Betrayed you? How? Why?" "I don't know yet, but he's behind this entire collapse." The assistant entered again, pale. "Sir, there's more. The FBI just froze all company assets, including offshore accounts. They claim there's evidence linking you directly to fraudulent activity." Ethan's hands shook. Evidence? Forged evidence. He ran to the desk, grabbing papers and throwing them across the room. "I never authorized these transfers. Someone is trying to ruin me." Vanessa wrapped her arms around him, but Ethan pulled away, pacing. "I trusted him. I trusted everyone." The phone rang again. Unknown number. Ethan answered immediately. "Who is this?" A cold, controlled voice spoke. "Mr. Cole, it's Special Agent Ruiz. Sit down. This isn't going to be pleasant." "What do you want from me?" Ethan demanded. "You know exactly what we want. Come to the office. We have questions." Ethan slammed the phone down. He ran to the window again, looking at the flashing lights. His life had transformed from the height of luxury to chaos in mere hours, and the more he tried to grasp the situation, the more it slipped away. He remembered the board meeting from last night. Marcus had been unusually persistent about approving the international transfers. Ethan had ignored the unease in his gut, trusting the man blindly. Now, that trust felt like a weapon pointed straight at his heart. Vanessa pulled him down onto the couch. "Ethan, think. You need a plan." Ethan took a deep breath. "First, I need to find Marcus. He knows what he's done. Then, we fight back." His jaw tightened. "We're not giving up." But even as he said it, another truth pressed itself into his mind. Marcus might not be acting alone. Someone else had to have orchestrated the media leaks, the stock manipulations, and the timing of the government freeze. Someone who knew exactly when and how to strike. Ethan sat silently for a moment, piecing the puzzle together. The betrayal cut deeper than any financial loss. It was personal. Marcus had known him, understood him, trusted him, and still he had turned against him. Outside, the sirens faded slightly as the media vans departed, but the tension inside the mansion only grew. Ethan's phone buzzed once more, another unknown number. He answered immediately. "Who is this?" The voice said, smooth and chilling, "Mr. Cole, we have everything. The signatures, the transfers, the documents. You're finished if you don't cooperate." Ethan's hands trembled. "Who are you?" A pause. "Someone you trusted. Someone you never suspected." The line went dead. Vanessa's eyes were wide. "Ethan, who?" He shook his head. "I don't know yet, but I will find out, and I will make them pay." For the next 2 hours, Ethan called lawyers, financial experts, and even journalists. Every attempt to untangle the web of lies met resistance. Each call ended with frustration, fear, or outright deception. The walls of his mansion, which had always symbolized power and control, now felt like they were closing in on him. Then the unthinkable happened. Ethan checked his personal accounts again. More than half of his funds had been moved. Millions vanished into accounts he had never heard of. Vanessa whispered, "Ethan, that's it. Everything. It's gone." Ethan closed his eyes and leaned back, his mind reeling from betrayal and loss. "Not everything," he muttered, but even he knew the reality. Tonight, his empire, his life, everything he had built was crumbling before his eyes. He looked at Vanessa. "I need to know, can I trust anyone in this house?" Her voice shook. I don't know." A sudden realization struck him. Marcus had to be involved, yes, but this felt orchestrated beyond even Marcus's cunning. Someone else was behind this, someone who wanted to see him fall completely. Ethan's phone buzzed once more. This time it was a message from an unknown number. "Check the security cameras. Look closely." He ran to the monitor room, watching the footage of the mansion's entrances. His heart stopped. The camera captured someone moving through the halls last night, someone who shouldn't have been there, someone he knew intimately. Vanessa gasped, "Who is that?" Ethan swallowed hard. That's Vanessa." Vanessa froze, her eyes wide. What are you saying?" Ethan turned toward her, disbelief and betrayal burning through his chest. "You were here last night, and I see now Marcus isn't the only one who betrayed me." Vanessa's lips trembled. "Ethan, I didn't want it to happen like this." Ethan shook his head, a mixture of rage and heartbreak surging through him. "Explain, now." Her voice was barely audible. "It was Marcus's idea. He said it was the only way to protect the company. I went along." Ethan staggered back as if struck. You betrayed me? All of this? You and Marcus?" Tears streamed down her face. "I didn't want to. I thought I was helping." Ethan's fists clenched. "Helping? You destroyed everything. My company, my life, my trust." Outside, the sirens of approaching law enforcement grew louder. Ethan realized then that this was only the beginning. The battle to reclaim his life, his empire, and his dignity had just begun, and it would demand every ounce of cunning, courage, and strength he possessed. If you're still with this story, don't forget to hit the like button and comment below what you think Ethan should do next. Your engagement helps us keep telling stories like this. Ethan's chest heaved as he tried to process the betrayal. Vanessa, the woman he had trusted more than anyone, had conspired with Marcus. The realization felt like fire in his veins, scorching every memory they had shared. Every laugh, every celebration, every promise, tainted. I thought we were a team," Ethan said, his voice shaking but controlled. "Marcus was your idea. You, both of you, planned to ruin me." Vanessa's tears fell freely. "I never wanted it to go this far. I thought we could control it, that it would save the company. I didn't know they'd take everything, I swear." Ethan shook his head slowly, his mind already shifting from shock to strategy. "It's too late for apologies. Actions have consequences." He moved to his desk and pulled out a laptop, opening encrypted files and financial records he had hidden away. Plans he had set up months in advance, never revealing them to anyone, not even Vanessa or Marcus. A small smile crept onto his face. The fight wasn't over. Not yet. "You've left yourself exposed," Ethan said, quietly, more to himself than anyone else. "You underestimated me." Outside, the sirens faded as authorities swarmed the mansion, sealing it off for investigation. Agents knocked at the door, demanding entry, while cameras captured every moment for the media. Ethan took a deep breath. He was calm now, calculating. He knew exactly what to do next. He contacted his most trusted lawyer. "We have evidence," Ethan said. "All of it. Prepare everything. I want Marcus and Vanessa investigated fully. Every transfer, every communication. Get it documented. This ends tonight." Vanessa whimpered as she realized that the tide had shifted. Ethan had been broken, betrayed, humiliated, but he was not defeated. Hours later, after methodically gathering evidence and presenting it to authorities, Marcus was apprehended at his private office, trying to flee the country with suitcases full of documents and devices. The news broke. Marcus Hale arrested in fraud and embezzlement case. Vanessa tried to slip away, but Ethan intercepted her before she could reach the car. He held her gently but firmly. "This isn't personal," Ethan said coldly. "It's justice." She lowered her head, knowing there was no escape from the consequences of her actions. The investigation revealed the full extent of the betrayal. Marcus had orchestrated the fraudulent transfers, manipulated the media, and timed everything perfectly to coincide with Ethan's birthday, a symbolic strike meant to shatter him completely. Vanessa had enabled it, believing she was protecting the company, but unwittingly becoming a co-conspirator. For weeks, Ethan watched the headlines, feeling the sting of humiliation as stories detailed the downfall of the billionaire. Friends and colleagues turned their backs, fearing association. Business partners distanced themselves. The empire he had built over decades seemed gone in an instant. Yet, even in the depths of public disgrace, Ethan knew a secret. Months before the collapse, he had quietly moved a portion of his assets into a blind trust, untraceable and inaccessible but to himself. It was a contingency, a safety net he had built silently, expecting nothing but loyalty from those around him. And now that safety net was his lifeline. Sitting in a modest apartment far from the mansion, Ethan reflected on the past weeks. He had lost wealth, power, and trust, but he hadn't lost himself. Determination coursed through him like electricity. He would rebuild, not just the company, but his reputation and his life. Calls began to come in. Loyal staff members, people who had quietly supported him despite the chaos, reached out with offers to help. Investors who had pulled out now wanted back in, impressed by the evidence he had presented and the quick recovery. Ethan began to rebuild. He started a new company, leaner, smarter, and fortified against betrayal. He implemented strict protocols, ensured transparency, and surrounded himself only with people whose loyalty was proven, not assumed. Within months, his new venture attracted global attention. One evening after closing a major deal, Ethan looked out at the city skyline from his modest office. Vanessa and Marcus were behind bars, awaiting trial. Justice was served, and the world had witnessed the fall of a billionaire. But they hadn't seen the rise again. Ethan's phone buzzed with a message. "Congratulations, sir. You're back." He smiled faintly. "I never left," he murmured. Ethan lost everything in one night, his company, his wealth, his trust, but he had gained clarity. He understood who was loyal, who was dangerous, and what it truly meant to control his destiny. The night of betrayal became the night of awakening. Months later, as Ethan prepared to launch an international expansion of his new company, he addressed his team. "We are stronger because we endured," he said, voice steady and commanding. Never let anyone convince you that your life or work is theirs to control. Protect it, guard it, and always plan for the unexpected. The team erupted in applause. Ethan felt a rare emotion, pride, not just for himself, but for the people who had stood by him. The empire he had rebuilt was more resilient, more intelligent, more unstoppable. He leaned back in his chair, thinking of the chaos of that night, the phone calls, the sirens, the betrayal. He smiled, not bitterly, but with a sense of triumph. He had been stripped to nothing, but from nothing he had built something even greater. Before ending the day, Ethan sent out a message to his legal team. Finalize everything, Marcus and Vanessa's assets, their accounts. Ensure they face the consequences fully. No leniency. Let them understand that betrayal never goes unpunished. Later, when the media approached him for interviews, he addressed the reporters calmly. I lost everything, yes, but losing everything taught me what truly matters. Trust must be earned, power must be guarded, and nothing can replace resilience. He paused, looking into the cameras. To anyone watching, remember this. Your life, your work, your trust, protect them fiercely. And never let one night define who you are. Because even when it seems you've lost everything, the chance to rise again always exists. Ethan's story became a legend in the business world. Articles detailed how he had survived the ultimate betrayal, lost billions, and yet returned stronger than ever. Aspiring entrepreneurs studied his strategies, his resilience, and his ability to foresee threats while staying calm under pressure. And as Ethan stood on the balcony of his newly acquired headquarters, overlooking the city lights, he whispered quietly to himself, "The night I lost everything was the night I finally understood everything." He had endured, he had learned, and he had arisen. Ethan Cole, the billionaire who lost everything in one night, was now the billionaire who conquered every obstacle, betrayed by the closest, and yet unstoppable. And as the sun rose, bathing the city in light, he smiled, not with arrogance, not with greed, but with the quiet satisfaction of someone who had faced darkness and emerged victorious. If you enjoyed Ethan's story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more thrilling stories of betrayal, survival, and triumph. Share your thoughts below. What would you have done if you were in Ethan's shoes? Because sometimes the greatest lessons come not from success, but from the nights when it all falls apart.